The night I realized my home was no longer safe, the clock read 12:03 a.m. I remember because I stared at the glowing numbers while trying not to cry too loudly. Our house was small, old, and always tense after sunset. During the day, people passing by saw trimmed grass, closed curtains, and a family that looked normal enough. But walls can hide many things. My mother worked night shifts at a nursing center 3 times a week. She said the extra money would help us survive. What she didn't know was that every night she left, fear moved into the empty spaces she created. My stepfather, Raymond, changed when no one else was watching. In public, he smiled too much. He called me kiddo and held doors open for strangers. Neighbors said my mother was lucky to find such a polite man after divorce. Inside the house, he was cold, controlling, and cruel in quiet ways that are harder to explain than bruises. He criticized how I walked, how I breathed, how much cereal I poured. If I laughed too loudly, he glared. If I stayed in my room, he called me ungrateful. And the worst part, my mother always seemed too tired to notice. That night, I had accidentally left a lamp on in the hallway, a tiny mistake, barely worth a sentence. But at midnight, Raymond stormed into my room. "Do you think electricity is free?" he shouted. I sat upright, heart pounding. "I'm sorry, I forgot." He grabbed the lamp from my desk and threw it against the wall. The crash made me jump. "I'm tired of your excuses." I backed away, shaking. When someone larger than you fills a doorway with anger, the room suddenly feels much smaller. I tried to move past him toward the hall, but he blocked me. Then he shoved me so hard I hit the edge of the bed frame and fell to the floor. Pain rushed through my shoulder. For 1 second, the whole room went silent, except for my breathing. He looked down at me and said the sentence I will never forget. "No one is coming." Then he walked out and slammed the door. I lay there stunned, not just from pain, but from the certainty in his voice. He believed I was trapped. He believed fear would keep me quiet. He believed midnight belonged to him. But what he didn't know was that I had prepared for this moment long before it came. Weeks earlier, after another terrifying outburst, I had saved one contact in my phone under a fake name, Aunt Lily. She was not my aunt. She was Officer Lena Torres, a school resource officer who once told our class, "If home ever stops feeling safe, you are not alone." My hands trembled as I reached for my phone under the pillow. I typed only 3 words: "Need help now." Then I hit send and waited in the dark. What happened next changed every life in that house forever. The longest 10 minutes of my life happened in silence. I sat on the floor, back against the bed, clutching my shoulder and listening. Raymond paced the hallway once, then the kitchen, then silence again. Every sound felt like a warning. I considered deleting the message, telling myself I was overreacting, telling myself tomorrow would be easier. That is how fear survives, by convincing you to wait. Then my phone vibrated. "Stay where you are, we are coming." We. I read the message 3 times. For months, Raymond had trained me to feel powerless. He controlled the temperature of every room with his moods. He made me apologize for existing too loudly. But one text had cracked that illusion. I wasn't alone. Minutes later, headlights swept across my bedroom wall through the blinds. Then another set, then another. I heard car doors closing outside. Voices. Firm, clear, official voices. Raymond cursed under his breath downstairs. My heartbeat thundered. A loud knock shook the front door. "Open the door." Raymond shouted back, "Who is it?" "County officers, open now." His footsteps rushed to the kitchen instead. I knew that sound. He was trying to hide bottles, maybe clean evidence, maybe create a story. People like him never expect truth to arrive faster than their lies. The knocking came again, stronger. Then the door opened. I heard several people enter at once. "Sir, step away from the counter." "What's going on? This is a misunderstanding." "Hands where we can see them." I curled into myself, trembling. A gentle voice came from the hallway. "Emma, it's Officer Torres. May I come in?" The moment I heard her voice, I broke. All the tears I had swallowed for months came at once. She entered slowly, kneeling beside me. "Oh, sweetheart." She saw the broken lamp, my shoulder, my face. "You did the right thing," she said softly. No one had said those words to me in a long time. Downstairs, Raymond kept shouting, "She's dramatic. Teenagers lie." Officer Torres didn't even turn toward the noise. She handed me a blanket. "Can you walk?" I nodded. As she helped me stand, I asked the question that mattered most. "Is my mom here?" "Not yet," she said gently. "We called her." That answer hurt in a different way. Even rescue had arrived before my mother. At the station later, I gave my statement. My voice shook, but it did not disappear. I described the pushing, the threats, the months of fear, the names, the intimidation, the way he changed whenever she left for work. Then my mother arrived. Her face was pale, eyes swollen from crying. "Emma," she whispered, "why didn't you tell me?" I looked at her for a long time. "I tried," I said quietly. "You were always too tired to hear me." That sentence broke her more than tears ever could. Until everything changed, because Raymond had spent years controlling a house, but he forgot one thing. Once truth leaves the front door, it never goes back inside. Raymond was removed from the home that same night under emergency protective orders while the investigation moved forward. He kept shouting as officers led him away, "You're ruining my life." Funny how people say that only after they've spent years ruining someone else's peace. My mother and I returned home at sunrise. The house looked exactly the same. Same couch, same curtains, same kitchen table. But something invisible had changed. Fear was gone. For the first time in years, the walls felt like walls again, not prison bars. My mother stood in the doorway, crying. "I failed you." I wanted to comfort her. I wanted to be the child again, but pain had made me older than my age. "You failed yourself, too," I said softly. She nodded, because truth had finally found both of us.